I think when we're a kid, we are born fearless, essentially. We don't worry about what other people are going to think. We're not intimidated or have this fear of judgment or fear of failing because, everything as a kid is exciting and it's new, and you're not afraid to try things, and you're not afraid to just be silly because you're a kid. That's just part of being a kid, is just doing whatever comes to mind without any sort of worry of what someone's going to think or how it's going to look to other people. When I was a little kid, I was absolutely fearless. I never worried about what people thought, and I loved performing. I would literally see a line of people at like an amusement park, and I would just think of them as like an audience, and I was going to perform for them whether they liked it or not. And I was the little girl who would absolutely make a ham out of myself whenever I could in front of anybody, because that's just who I was. I was outgoing to a fault. I was absolutely fearless. I didn't care what anybody thought. And I just loved being a goofball and performing in front of people, whether it was acting out different characters I had in my head and talking to myself, or if it was, getting up on a stage and singing in front of a ton of strangers, because I was just fearless like that, because I wasn't worried about people judging me or making fun of me or anything like that. And I think as we get older, we lose a lot of that. We all of a sudden are aware that people are watching us and everything we do. We're constantly not only comparing ourselves to other people, but thinking like, what will other people think? And, there's just always like these thoughts in your head, like, oh, I don't want to do that because what would that person think? Or what is somebody going to say if they see me doing that thing? And I think that intimidation and that comparison and that fear of judgment or that fear of getting made fun of is just kind of constantly on our mind. And something I've been trying to do lately is kind of let go of some of that worry and some of that fear and try to get back to that little girl I was, who was not afraid to perform in front of a ton of strangers. Because, I think in a way when we're kids, we're our most authentic self. Of course, every year, we hopefully learn more about ourselves and the person we want to be, or we make choices to become closer to the person we want to be. But at the same time, again, as a kid, I think that there's just this fearlessness in us that is unaware of how cruel the world can be. And we're definitely not thinking about, what other kids are going to think, at least at a very young age I'm talking about. And then again, every year as you get older, especially in school, I would become more aware of what other people thought. And all of a sudden I was getting made fun of, when before I had no reason to not be myself, because I wasn't necessarily around other kids that were going to start laughing at me or making fun of me. And then, each year it got a little bit harder to hold on to who I wanted to be, because as much as I always wanted to be somebody who didn't care what people thought, I do think we lose a little bit of that as we get older, whether it's conscious or not. And I just decided that I'm going to stop holding back at all when it comes to who I am. I'm just going to be the person I've always been inside since I was a little girl. And I just kind of want to share that side with you guys. I feel like my personality is split in two. I have this like bubbly, outgoing side of me that absolutely loves talking to people, loves making people laugh. You guys see that side on stream all the time if you're from my live streams on Twitch. But then there's the other part of me that is just as much part of me that I've hidden away for so long. And it's the dark side of me. It's the side of me that is vulnerable, is the side of me that I kind of shut out from the world, because it's a lot of times the more depressing side. But it's also the part of me that is where my lyrics come from. I feel like I'm most my honest self when I'm in this kind of like dark state. And even though I don't show you guys that side of me in front of the camera, I thought I'd start doing that now. I don't think that anybody necessarily hides who they really are on purpose. I just think that, especially with social media nowadays, a lot of the sides you see of people, they're not false by any means, but they're they're well curated. Everybody likes to put forward their best self, because why wouldn't you? I would hate to be judged on my absolute worst days. I think anybody would. But at the same time, I do think that a lot of you guys maybe would like to know that you're not alone when you're having these rough days, because I absolutely have them more often than I ever share. And I just thought it's time to start showing that side of me a little more. I want you guys to know the person I am on my best days and on my worst days. And I just want to kind of start showing that side of me. And that part of me is definitely most prominent in my music and my lyrics. But I also thought I'd just start using this channel to kind of talk to you guys about things I'm going through, and maybe something that you guys can relate to. I'm going to start doing a couple things on this channel when it comes to content like this. I'm going to be just kind of talking to you guys about things that I'm going through or things that are on my mind. I want to open up the conversation to you guys, and I want you to let me know in the comments if you can relate to some of these stories, if there's a subject that you want me to touch on or you want me to talk about. We're going to start doing little sleepover sessions where we talk about something and we kind of get a conversation going and we share stories and different things. I've just kind of decided recently I'm going to stop caring what other people think, and I'm going to stop worrying about it all, and I'm just going to put out the content that I want to put out. And I think, again, as we get older, we start to be more conscious of doubt, of fear, of other people judging us. And I just really want to get back to being that fearless little girl who doesn't care and is just going to be myself. And you know what? If people like it, great. And if they don't, that's okay. Because I know that I'm doing what I feel is the most me. And I want to start putting that side of me out there more often. I just want to talk to you guys on here. This channel is going to be a lot of music related content, obviously, because it's a music channel. But in addition to me sharing shorts every day and sharing music videos and lyric videos, I'm going to be sharing a ton of behind the scenes stuff, whether it's filming a music video or doing photo shoots or just, whatever I'm doing at the moment. I'm also going to be doing some talking videos like this, where I talk to you guys about something on my mind or something I'm going through, and maybe it's something that you guys can relate to too. And if you can, please let me know in the comments. I absolutely want to know what's on your guys' mind. If you can relate to any of my lyrics, please let me know. If there's a topic you want me to cover next and you guys want to talk about it, let me know. I want this to be a place where we can kind of just connect about different things we're going through and different things on our mind. And I want to share some of the things that I've been thinking about and some of the things that I've been going through, because I think you guys might relate to it too. And I want you to know more than anything that whatever you're going through, as hard as it seems sometimes and as cheesy as it sounds, you are not alone.